The arrival of the Antichrist, according to what St. Anatolios of Optima prophecies are telling us, the arrival of the Antichrist, according to St. Anatolius, how will people who prepare for the arrival of the Antichrist understand the church and monasteries? The enemy of the human race will work cunningly to lead into heresy, if possible even the elect. It will not begin with the cold rejection of the doctrines of the Holy Trinity, the divinity of Jesus Christ, and the virginity of the Mother of God, but it will imperceptibly begin to destroy the teachings and traditions of the Church and their great spirituality, which has reached us through the Holy Fathers by the Holy Spirit. Few will notice these goodies of the enemy, only those who will be very experienced in the spiritual life. Heretics will gain power over the Church and place their servants everywhere. The pious will be treated with contempt. The Lord himself said that by their fruits you will recognize them and distinguish them from the true shepherds. These are spiritual thieves, trespassers, and will enter the fold, the Church, by climbing in some other way, using force and violating the holy rules. The Lord calls them robbers. John 10:1. Indeed, their first action will be to persecute the true shepherds, imprison and exile them, for without this it would be impossible for them to plunder the flock. For this reason, my child, when you see the violation of tradition and the divine commandments in the Church, the commandments that were sent by God, know that the heretics have already appeared. Although in the time of their action they may conceal their impiety or subtly destroy the holy faith in order the better to achieve the seduction and attachment of the infinite in their nets. The persecution will be directed not only against the pastors but against all the servants of God, because all who will be guided by heresy will not suffer godliness. You recognize these wolves in sheep's clothing by their proud dispositions and love of power. They will be slanderers, traitors, showing enmity and malice everywhere. That is why the Lord said that their fruits will make them known. True servants of God are humble. They love their fellow man and are obedient to the Church. The monks will suffer greatly from the heretics, and the monastic life will be despised. Active monasteries will be rare. The number of monks will be reduced, and those who remain will suffer violence. Those who hate the monastic life, wearing only the guise of piety, will strive to attract the monks to their side by promising them protection and worldly goods, and threatening those who attack them with exile. These threats will cause great despair to the small-minded, but you, my child, rejoice that you have lived to this time, for then the faithful who have shown no other virtues will receive crowns only because they have remained steadfast in the faith according to the word of the Lord. Everyone who confesses to me before men, I will confess to him before my Father in heaven. Matthew 1:32. Fear the Lord, my child, fear losing the crown prepared for you, fear being cast by Christ into outer darkness and eternal suffering. Stand brave in the faith, and if necessary, endure persecution and other sorrows, because the Lord will be with you, and the holy martyrs and spiritual ones will look at you and your struggle with pleasure. But woe to the monks in those days, the monastics that is, in those days, when they will be captivated by possessions and riches, who because of love, peace, rest, will be ready to submit to the heretics. They will numb their conscience by saying, we preserve and save the monastery, and the Lord will forgive us. These unfortunate and blind people do not at all consider that through heresy the demons will enter the monastery, and then it will not be a holy monastery, but only walls from which grace will have been removed. Now, I have to tell you what my spiritual father kept telling us in the world, lay people, that we are also monastics in our hearts, as long as we follow God's commandments. Okay? Now, going back to this, God, however, is stronger than the enemy and will never abandon his servants. True Christians will remain until the end of this period, only they will prefer to live in isolated desert places. Do not be afraid of sorrows. Rather be afraid of the pernicious heresy, because it strips us of grace and isolates us from Christ. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.